So I've been building this platform for my fiction writing, and I noticed that there's kind of a big problem that I'm going to rectify in this video and also talk about what you should be doing with your author website to make sure you're getting the visibility that you need. The mistake that I made, that's actually a pretty common mistake, when you're building an author website, you're probably going to want to think of a tagline. And I've said this before, you need to think of a tagline that kind of embodies your brand. And so the branding that I came up with was experiments in popular fiction from a literary scholar. And I'm using my positioning statement, or my USP, my unique, sales proposition, that I'm doing my PhD in literature and therefore I know what I'm talking about. But actually, this isn't really great for my website because it's not very specific, and it's a little bit pretentious, and it doesn't really have any keywords that are going to help me to be found. So nobody's going to be searching for literary scholar or popular fiction or experiments. This is a good kind of branding or positioning statement for my website if this website was all about book marketing experiments, or if it was a writing website, or if I was just talking about how to write fiction. But I'm not. Mostly this is a fiction website to sell my novels. And so what I really need to be doing is focusing on keywords that attract my target readers and tell them what I'm selling. I've got to be clearer about what's actually on my site that I'm trying to sell. And so you'll see this, like, this is the logo that I made, but in the WordPress panel, you have general settings, the site titles, urban epics. And so before I had this, experiments in popular fiction from a literary scholar, which doesn't really help in any keywords. So this is what it looks like on Google. If someone found me accidentally, they might see this experiments in popular fiction, and that wouldn't really appeal to anybody. I mean, unless they are authors who want to learn more about writing or marketing fiction, and I don't really want authors finding my website. Authors they're interested in writing and promoting their own books. They're not my ideal target readers who are going to be fans of my fiction. So I'm appealing to the wrong people. So I've changed it and basically just stuffed in a bunch of keywords. And this is a little sloppy because it says urban epic, sci-fi, dystopian, urban fantasy books for young adult readers. It's sloppy and it's a little crowded, but it's very clear. So people who stumble upon my website will know that it's for young adult books and that it's mostly going to have sci-fi, dystopia, and urban fantasy, which are basically the three main genres that cover just about everything I'm going to write. So they can, and the nice thing is, like, the difference is with this one, if they've already read my fiction, if they've already found me and they know who I am, they know what I do, then this might be a good tagline because they know I'm working on, like, I'm coming from background in PhD studies and I'm experimenting with popular fiction to learn how to write and how to market books. So it's kind of like a big case study. But I don't just, like, my website, the thing about marketing is if somebody already knows who I am, if they've already found my website because I've already driven that traffic, if I've already told them to go to my website, they already know who I am. I don't have to appeal or sell to those people. What I need to sell to are the people who come to my website on accident, who don't know who I am yet, and I have to get their attention and tell them that my website is for them. And that's why this one's a lot stronger, because the stuff that I'm going to be doing, because it's hard to do. Like, you don't just want to rely on the type of marketing where you go out on Twitter or Facebook, or even after you've sold a book, and send traffic back to your website, because that takes a lot of work and effort. What you want to do is write the kind of content that attracts your ideal readers. So for example, let's see, something I did recently. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it. I probably won't be able to find it. Nope. Oh, it might be on... I just put up something that's like 32 great mermaid romances or mermaid books. It's basically like a huge pile of recommended books, which is a good idea because anybody searching for mermaid romance novels for young adult fiction might accidentally find my website. But if they accidentally find my website and they see this, they won't really know if this website is for them or what this website talks about. Whereas if they see this, they'll be like, oh, okay, I'm a young adult reader. I like sci-fi, dystopian, urban fantasy. Maybe I'll spend a minute on this website and look around. And then I also, because I'm really focused on young adult fiction, I've got these up here: young adult authors, young adult book bloggers, young adult book blog awards. So these are all kind of like, I really should have something that's young adult readers or free books. It's a little bit hidden. This about up here is pretty much wasted space because people won't necessarily click on the about, but they might click on the free books to find out more about me or what they can get. So it's important, like on the one hand, just when people land on your site, yes, it's a good idea to have a brand, but it's more important to tell readers what your site is about. And I think most authors are probably going to try to do something clever, like a positioning statement, which isn't bad, but really, like, if you're going to do that, you should have your positioning statement after, actually, because keywords matter. When you're doing keywords, they should be first because they'll show up. You'll rank better if your keywords are first. So, for example, I could say urban epics, sci-fi, dystopian, urban fantasy books for young adult readers, and then I could say dash experiments in popular fiction by a literary scholar. But that's really too much work. And I mean, I've got on the homepage anyway, like this is kind of getting their attention, but then I have this about the author, and there's more stuff about me down here. Anyway, if they stay that long, the trick is to get them to stay more than just 5 seconds, because most people will just bounce. They'll just leave your website right away. So, but the other reason you want to have something like this is because you do want to have a lot of keywords. So when people are searching for like best urban fantasy mermaid books for young adult readers, they might accidentally find my website because my pages will have more keywords in them. Because like my unique pages will have something like urban fantasy, and then it's also, when I change this, it'll have all those new nice keywords in the tagline. So something to be aware of. This is a mistake that, I mean, I made, and most authors are also making. Most authors just use their author name, so they'll just say something like Derek Murphy, an urban fantasy author. The other thing that's kind of interesting is I don't want this to look like a single author site, because if they don't know me and they don't know my books, they're less likely to be interested in one little author with a personal blog, because a personal blog, it doesn't have that same authority as something that's more general. So what I want this isn't a young adult book review site. I'm not going to be talking all about everybody else's young adult books or best-selling books in the young adult space, although I should also be doing a lot of that because I want to attract that kind of traffic. But if it was just my name, like if it was just Derek Murphy really big, and someone lands on the site and they don't know who I am, they don't recognize my name, they're not interested in my books, they will just assume, even if they like this article, they may not be interested in me. So if I'm just selling myself, like if I'm just saying a literary scholar, they may not really give a shit about who this guy is or what his books are, even if they like the article. Whereas if it looks like a more general website that deals with these topics that they're interested in, because the thing about websites, people are looking for benefits. People are looking for what's in it for them. What do you have to offer them? Why should they stick around on your website? What are they going to get out of it? You've got to promise those kind of benefits to your readers. You don't want to just make it all about you and try to get their attention on you, because they're not interested in you. They might be like, if you can get them to stick around and read a couple articles and then check about your about page and read your biography, then maybe they'll become interested in you. But they won't if they just, land on your page accidentally. So those are some things you need to consider when you're making your author website and when you're choosing a tagline. You definitely can experiment with these and play around and test some things out. it is a good idea. It's just kind of the same thing with your Amazon page. I'll just go here real quickly and look for my book. It's the same kind of thing when you're selling your book on Amazon. You're tempted to put in a very creative tagline with some cool words that you made up. Like the name of the series is In the Ocean Depths. This is book 1 of the Ocean Depths series. So most people would say Shearwater, book 1 of the Ocean Depths series, but then I don't have any keywords in my title, which is a really big mistake that most authors make, because if someone's searching for, like, no one's going to search for my name because I'm not famous, or Shearwater, or Ocean Depths. Those are all kind of meaningless keywords. They're going to search for, they might search for mermaid romance or young adult, which is why you need to have a lot of keywords in your description. And that's more important than something fanciful or creative or unique, because even though you want to establish a brand, it's more important to be found. So in the beginning, even though it looks kind of weird that I kind of stuffed keywords up here, and even though most authors aren't doing that, it's better than not being found at all, because if I'm not found, it doesn't matter what I have up here. And it's kind of the same thing with the website. If people don't find me and stick around, it doesn't matter what you say on your website or what your tagline is, because nobody's seeing it. So even though you should have an author brand or a tagline that kind of represents you, it's better to use keywords so that you have some visibility and you get found. It's better to be found with keywords than not to be found with a really clever tagline. So that's kind of the thing. I don't know. I hate to call it like a mistake, because it is good to be branding and to have an author brand. So it's not necessarily a mistake. It's just, if you're not found, nothing else matters. So you want to be found over not being found. And that's really the only consideration, especially in the beginning. Like maybe later when I'm a best-selling author, when people are actually searching for my name or my books, then I can put whatever I want up here. Then I can, change it up and get something that's a little cooler, because then I'm not dependent on the traffic. But I'm not at that place yet, and most authors aren't at that place yet. Unless you're a huge billionaire best-selling author, you could always use more visibility. So you really need to focus on your keywords.